This morning, I really wanted to share with you something that truly helped me yesterday. And there's a couple of lessons in it, but it's more about what to do when you really do not have much energy to paint. I seem to do a lot of these videos, but it happens to me a lot. And from what I hear, I am not alone. So last night I came home after teaching all day. I was tired and I'm like, oh goodness, I haven't painted in a couple of days. I really miss it. I want to paint. But started and I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like what am I gonna paint? So then I thought, okay, I'm just gonna not play because I'm not really good at playing, but I wanted to have, okay, paints that I wanted to use up because I'm ready to switch some of the colors in these beautiful ceramic porcelain palettes. This one Sophia gave me. This one I bought, and I like it because it's shaped like Vermont. I wanted to use up these paints, and I wanted to not waste expensive paper. And so I thought, okay, I had this paper. First of all, let's distinguish between two different kinds of paper that are not truly watercolor paper. There's paper like this, which is thin, but it is sized well. So you can use it for watercolor and at least for light washes. You're probably not gonna wanna use it for different layers, but you just test it. Sometimes end papers in old books that you're recycling work well for this. Sometimes they don't. But then there's paper that may be very thick. I really, really love this paper. This is from Sicily, and it's a Cartera Etna that got destroyed by an earthquake, and I don't think it ever got back up again, unfortunately. So it's very precious paper to me. I hold it in awe and reverence, but it does not have the right sizing. So I don't want to just test it for you because I don't want to waste it, so to speak. But I'll just show you what happens if I have, let's say I'm going to use it as in the least wasteful way possible. And just trust me that it's like a blotting paper, right? So I can't really count on it. Once it dries, it dries. I don't know if it's the same as real. I don't know if some rice papers are like it, but I'll show you what I mean. All right, this is working out okay but it penetrates. So if I do another layer, it's not going to mix with the previous one. It's just going to go over it. And since it's the same, let's see if I can show you. See how the water just kind of spreads. So thickness is not what determines whether or not a paper is good for watercolor. This is thick paper and it's not that good for watercolor. See how it even goes through even with just that little water. So what I did to make the best of this is used very thick pigment with not a lot of water, and then it works. But if you use water, it will just spread. And I guess it's okay with some techniques, but not with traditional watercolor for sure. But what did I do yesterday? I wanted to paint. I am not the kind of person who just has like creative ideas in my head on what to paint without some kind of reference or purpose. It's just, I'm very goal-oriented. I don't like puzzles because it seems to me you spend a lot of time doing something, and at the end, what do you have? Something that was already there to begin with, but that somebody broke up. So to me, that's not a fun way to spend time. So what did I do? I just thought I would make lines. And because I'm goal-oriented, I thought that in making lines, I would also practice width. So with the same brush, different amounts of paint will give you a different color. But I wanted to see how thin I could go in one go and how thick I could go in one go. See, it's the same brush. So I made a practice, a useful practice, but also I wanted something pretty. I think lines are pretty. But see how this paper, even though it's a drawing paper and not a watercolor paper, it's sized so it doesn't bleed. So that's what I did. And you know, you can do it with one color, or you can test different colors. It had an incredibly calming effect, and I thought I want to share this with the good folks on Patreon. It's really not a good habit to go up and down like I did with the first one. Like this. It feels so good, but it's not a good thing to do with your watercolor paints. But I mean, no one's watching, so do it if you want to. This is Lilt. Lovely. Oh. I have a couple of the September palette. That's Lilt. And this is Smudge. And this is Wistful. This one that I did earlier is Equinox 24. And let's put in a Scottish Earth. Oh, it's so beautiful. See, and then you end up with something beautiful, but it's practice. You don't have to think about what you're gonna paint, and it's still some creativity because you can pick the colors or do it all one color, choose how wide the lines are. It's excellent practice to see how fine you can make your lines. I really like mop brushes for that reason, because the same brush can give you a very thin line and a very thick line. So little Christina tip to enjoy painting while learning and not having to think of what you're going to paint. Thank you.